Okay, I think we're live. Hello, conscious mothers. We're so excited to be bringing you a very beautiful soul and special guest today, my dear friend Brandee, who recently graduated Awakened Motherhood. Hi, Brandee, and we're just gonna launch today by just first having Brandee introduce herself. She's so bravely coming on, so I'm gonna ask and call in your love and your gratitude for her and your kindness and just flow some hearts and likes and love to her in the comments for just taking the stage so courageously. She doesn't get anything for doing this in other than it's probably a little bit of nerves and but we just know that it blesses you who get to hear about what's possible for you. So she's doing that for you guys today. Brandee, will you introduce yourself, my dear, and tell us a little about your family?
Yes, I will. I am Brandee James, and I am in Wendell, North Carolina, which is just a little bit outside of Raleigh. And I will be 40 next year, which I am excited about, which is strange, right? But so I'm 39. I have 3 children at home with me, and my daughter will be 6 in August. My son will be 4 next in a week and a half, and then my baby just turned 17 months. And we're just getting our summer started and kind of getting after it.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Get
you
outside
guys
as
are
much as possible and just kind of play together this summer. So that's
so
who we are.
beautiful.
Mhm.
And that is exactly the thing that you worked on, how to
Mhm.
get there, right? Like how to just love this stage with a baby and 2 kids who have a lot of needs and are always getting into something, and how to be the mom that, if I think back of like what you came in with, it was like, actually look back at the notes from our clarity call the other
Mhm.
day, which was so fun. And to just like remember that fun was such a big part of what you wanted to create. Fun, like eliminate the anxiety, overwhelm loops, but for the purpose of having fun, enjoying them at this perfect little stage. So I love that you opened with that. Yay. Okay, so people can see us and they're commenting. I was going to ask, can you guys hear us okay? And if you can just click this little this little thing, if you're in Facebook with us, that says to give StreamYard permission to give us your name in the commenter, then we can know who you are. So I know friends of Brandee will be showing up from Awakened Motherhood today. We would love to see who you are. If you can do that, that would be great. Okay, let's start. Let's go back. You ready to go back a little bit?
Let's not, but I will for this.
So you're not actually going back, but we're just going to talk
Right.
about where you were before. So let's start with can you remember what it was like when, like, before we met and before you knew Awakened Motherhood was a thing and that was even possible for you to have fun and joy? What was going on for you? What was your daily life like?
Yeah, I have. In preparation for this, I was thinking about that, and the way that it can be summed up most easily is that the person that I was inside and the person that I was outside, they just didn't match. So, I was very good at putting on the face and kind of looking the part, but inside I just was riddled with anxiety, with, I think, a low level of depression that I'd been struggling with for before children, but just an overachieving mentality and an overachieving lifestyle. So if things weren't working, try harder. And if things weren't working in whether work or home or life, you pull up those bootstraps, you clench the fist, and you fight harder. And so what that really resulted in over the years is just overwhelmed, anxious, completely gripped by fear in every sense of the word. So, just whether that was for my children's safety, for decision making. I used to be very confident in how I'd make a decision. And then it became, down to the silliest little things, but that were really in the forefront of my mind. Did I feed them well enough today? Did they get all the food groups? Are we at the right school? Did we get enough outdoor time? It was unreal how much just the question of how should I do this? Could I do this? Lack of confidence in my motherhood. So, in work, I could just oversell and be the rock star there, and I could just keep pushing. But here, no matter what I was really trying, I'm still scratching my head at why are we still having just really epic behavioral issues is what thought was the problem, or why is this so hard? Um, why am I still having the same after 8 years of a beautiful marriage, but still there, I feel like it could be better. So like, why are we still having the same arguments?
Mhm.
And I think that's where I was really just kind of stuck in. I was doing all the things, the kids seemed to be doing well, and the house is running smoothly. My floors are spotless. At the end of the night, I would kind of crash on the couch and just rehash everything. God bless my husband for listening to it for far too long, but just rehash and just question everything. There was not an ounce anymore of confidence in who I was as a person, or then extending to my motherhood. My identity was completely lost in my children, completely.
Mm.
So, just how they were doing was how I was doing. How they
Mhm.
were doing at any moment was how I was doing. And so what that created was just roller coaster constantly. And I never rested. I didn't rest well at
Mm.
night. I didn't rest during the day. Um, and it just progressed from there. So, I mean, I'd wake up every morning with tightness in my chest, and you know, kind of just dealt with that. So I tried to move into, well, eat better and do this or do that again, into this fix it mode, just
Yes.
fix and force to try to find a solution to why is this so hard for me? Why do I not feel just a sense of peace about how I'm doing this? Because if you looked on the outside, I'm like, hey, everyone else is saying she's doing pretty good,
Yeah.
Like, well, look at this. She's it's fine. But I was just I was kind of stuck in a prison, if you will, in my mind, and in my heart of doubt, of fear, um,
Yeah.
really, angry. I'd just kind of I'd be fine, 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 and then I'd be angry and blow up. So there was just not it wasn't an emotionally healthy mama for sure. So
Mm.
I wasn't even, or I was even on the outside. The inside was
Yeah. What
just
if, yeah, I know as everyone's listening, and I'm feeling the same, like, wow, you did Brandee, one of Brandee's gifts, you guys, is communication. You're a great communicator. What you just described, I can feel it. I can really feel it in my body. I can feel that the tightness here. I can feel the heaviness. I can feel the weight of being really stuck, but determined to fix it, which
Mhm.
is where you were. You were in such fix it mode. And as an overachiever, you're really driven to accomplishment. You're ambitious, right? And like when motherhood isn't looking as great as the corporate life looked, it's like, what the heck,
Mhm.
just there's just a lot of anger that comes up. So I'm wondering if you can say one more thing about like what was the cost to you of like being in that for a sustained amount of time? You said like really anxious, a bit of depression,
Yeah.
scared all the time, but anything else that you noticed like tired or like
Oh, yeah.
right, just lack of, like, enjoyment in the moments, in the everyday moments. If you can't relax, what's the price that you're paying for that?
Yeah, I mean, I just was anxious about everything. I feel like my entire family was walking on eggshells, because, "Oh, be careful. Oh, be careful. Oh," just there
Yeah.
was constant. I felt completely in control
Mm,
of how the family was operating and running, and
mhm.
everything that happened to them was live or die by me, by I so the anxiousness, the anxiety, the, kind of had a victim mentality about, just like, "Why is this happening to it's happening to me, right? This
Yeah,
life is happening to me."
yeah.
And, I'm sorry, that question, just more of how it felt, is that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got it. You're already answering
exhausted,
it.
just
Yeah,
exhausted.
awesome.
Now I'm still tired sometimes because am
Mhm.
busy and all that, but I it's different. Not resting, I used to reorganize my home all the time, so I went kind of minimalist, like,
Mhm.
thought, "Well, we need less stuff," because I'm tired of picking stuff off the floor,
Awesome.
and this is shouldn't be my existence, just picking little nibbly bits off the floor.
Yeah.
Also, I got rid of most of our stuff. I made a toy closet, organized it all. So, yeah, I put another system in our home,
Yeah.
but, it helped elevate to some degree, but it didn't fix the problem,
Of your core.
of
Yeah.
my, "Well, I'm
Yeah.
still exhausted. Why?" I'll drink more coffee. I'll drink less coffee. Maybe I won't have a glass of wine at night. Maybe I'll have 2. I kept playing with
Yeah.
how to fix this deep sense of lack, of loss, um, of sadness that I couldn't figure out why. And yet, because I'm a Christian and because my faith is and should be everything to me, then it was more of a guilt and shame. Like, well,
Yeah.
gosh, I've been trying to follow God for 20 years now. I've been sometimes a leader in things in that arena, and I'm trying to read my Bible, and I'm trying to, you know, trying to grow in this area, and yet I still feel like something's off. There's
Yeah.
something that is off, and I cannot figure out what it is. And darn it, I'm just gonna keep reading the books. I mean, honor the amount of books that I just donated. I actually
Okay.
donated a bunch to somebody, and I was thinking like, here you donated. This is not really the cure or the, or the fix, but hopefully it'll give you a little nugget of
Something.
wisdom and truth. Um, 20, 30 books maybe at a minimum. Articles constantly. There's a program through the Wake County school systems. If you have children 5 and under, you can get free counseling. So I signed up once every 2 weeks, right after the pandemic hit, for an hour at a time. So I'm nursing my baby. I've got the other two, doing something, and I'm just trying to figure out, how do I fix this
Yeah.
hard? I just
Yeah.
couldn't figure it out. Just
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, I know so many people can relate to your story who are hearing it. Thank you for sharing so honestly about that piece. I know it's not easy to reconnect with it. So we've talked a lot about some about all the efforts to fix, all the things that you tried to really make it better
Yeah.
that weren't getting you where you want to go. As you said, like it wasn't the cure. You kind of joked it didn't resolve anything or the underlying hard, that
Mhm.
had settled in and kind of taken up space. So let's kind of fast forward to the present day and just share with us what is life like now, and then we can talk about kind of what um, the different aspects of that. But what would you say about how you're feeling? Just for the women who are tuning in, like how do you feel now every day? Let's start there.
Yeah. I feel now. My baseline is, well, I don't wake up with that heaviness in my chest anymore. Uh,
Good.
and if it even begins to try to creep in, I know exactly what to do, to move it and to get it away. My baseline, the quiet in my spirit is peace,
Mhm.
calm, joy, which I was grasping for, like, what is joy? That's not even like attainable. More and more, it's becoming ease. So I would not say, and I think this is key for perfectionists like me, recovering perfectionists, and people who my life was very black and white, like it has to be this or that. It
Mhm.
can't be anything in between or anything maybe even bigger than that. I lived in a very box of just very limited. So I think it's important to say at this point, I'm not completely transformed. I am being transformed. And I
Mhm.
think that is the beauty in this, is that um, there are things that God is still revealing to me to then work on. But then I look at it and I'm not like, shame on you for thinking this way and being this
Yeah.
way. And why are you still dealing with this? Now it's like, oh, this isn't quite healed yet or dealt with. And so I look at myself with a lot more compassion and a lot more grace. And that probably is the biggest transformation in
Yeah.
how I'm doing now,
Yeah.
is that in my faith, grace is obviously a huge component. It's the component,
Yeah.
and I remember it always eluded me because I could not give myself grace in any under any circumstance, unfortunately. And I feel so sad to say that, but it was true
Mhm.
that I couldn't give my family grace. So
Mhm.
nobody had big emotions. I can't handle it. Nobody had meltdowns. I can't handle it because I couldn't handle my own
That's right.
emotions, my own didn't know what was going on inside of me. So, if my husband had a different mood or my children, I just couldn't handle it. And now there's space between
Mhm.
me and my family.
That's so
Um,
good. I mean, just you guys take that in, like, listen to that, feel that. Oh my god. So describe what you mean when you say that.
yes. Yeah, I remember one time sitting on the couch at the end of the night, debriefing about the day and how I could have done it better probably. And my son had said, "Sweetheart, you don't have boundaries, basically, that every feeling, every emotion from every stranger, your child, me, everybody's ups and downs, everybody's experiences are right in your space. You're letting them just get right to you. And I looked at him just deer in headlights. I'm like, yeah, but how do you change that? And
Mhm.
that is the difference now. Through this,
Mhm.
I have changed that, and through through AM and through God really revealing how to think through things and heal through things, and through you and honor the work that you're doing. There is complete space between me. So a great example is I've been so wrapped in fear about my children's safety. Well, guess what? The worst of the worst happened, and my son fell, opened up his chin on Sunday, and had to go to the urgent care.
Yeah.
How I was different is that I didn't escalate. I didn't freak out. I just stayed
Mhm.
calm and did what we needed to do in the moment. And I that was totally different than how I would have responded before. I would have made it all about me, like, oh, and just kind of dramatic and set fire to the emotions in the room. And I was very decisive. I was very clear. I was very calm. Um, Going back to the everyone not being up in my space, I can allow other people in my home now to have emotions. I'm still working on this. This is still something I'm growing in.
Yep.
But people can have bad days and it doesn't ruin my day. My husband can have a terrible day at work, and I can be like comfort him or be sad, but it doesn't ruin it. And then
Yeah.
I don't here's the best part, I don't like, well, is this gonna be our life? Like, it's just
Oh, the thinking down the rabbit hole. Yeah, totally.
that was
So
my
good.
well, we had a really hard moment on Sunday, and with there was a great day and there was a terrible day and there was a great day again. And I was so tempted to just be like, well, this is how our whole summer's gonna be. And this is the
Throw
behavior I'm using every
throw
day.
it all out. Yeah.
And I was able to stop myself and say, no, that's not true. Our family's having a hard moment, and we can bounce back. And I was so stuck in the negative and in the critical and in the harshness. It's incredibly defensive. My husband could never bring anything up to me to,
Mhm.
"Hey, consider this," to maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you shouldn't, and I would be so defensive. And the reason is because I was trying so hard. I was
Yes.
trying so
Yeah, and
hard,
it hurt. It actually really hurt.
and it was
Yeah,
painful. 'Cause if
totally.
I felt it as critique rather than a tenderness and a lovingness, I was thinking, "No one knows how hard I'm trying to make this work." And,
Mhm.
so to go back to how it is different, I'm still making an effort, but it's not with these clenched fists of,
Right.
it's with open hands of like, "Okay, there's grace in my home now. There's grace in me. I'm able to make mistakes," which was never the case throughout my entire life of almost 40 years. You can't make a
Right.
mistake. You just can't. No, and because I can't, no one else can either.
Right.
Everyone, you know, what a terrible
Wow. No, you know what? Really, what's
children aren't gonna be raised in that anymore, gracious. Like,
I mean, thank God you really followed your heart on noticing that you were not willing to let that continue. And this is the just like this is the moment where people move where people like get to have the result or they don't. It's like, how willing are you to stay in struggle mode, trying to fix it mode? And while that's happening, kids are not in a like a relaxed environment. You're not relaxed. Everyone's tense and the burdens from there get passed on forward. And
mhm,
and
mhm,
and what I remember, our initial conversation, and you were very clear about like, I don't want to keep doing that. Like I don't. So I'm just going to do whatever it takes. And that kind of decision making, which you were in a place where you weren't trusting your decisions very much. So I remember it was a leap to be like, oh my God, I'm going to trust that this is a decision that's the right direction for me.
yeah,
And you followed your heart with that. And look at what I mean, I just want to connect the dots for everybody. Like, look at what you're sharing now is everything that you've created came from that desire. That's like those are your personal heart's desires, those seeds
mhm,
that were planted there to have the closest, the connection. So that's what came for you to have. I love that you're tapping into ease now as a perfectionist. Like that's a radical, that's a radical idea, isn't it?
well, I remember how I came across you. My husband was out of town. I had the 3 babies at home, and I was thinking, I'm doing okay," and then I just went in bed, and I was like what came to me is, in my faith, it's like that God calls us to an abundant life. He provides an abundant life, and I'm like, "This cannot be an abundant life. What am I missing here?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "What am I not doing to get that right. And I thought, that's not the answer. I have gone down every path. And so I literally old school typed in like something about being an anxious mother. This really hit the wall with motherhood. And you came up and I immediately felt just a sense of peace of, I can trust this person because I have worked, I used to work in Los Angeles. And I've worked with a lot of, celebrity stuff and, kind of whatever. And I just immediately, I was like, this person is not selling a product or a tool or a tip or a trick. This is a healing lifestyle. And I think that that is something else to maybe mention is that there's a lot out there right now. And our
Yes.
brains, we just turn to buy the next PDF and buy this and buy that. And it's typically it's all backed by who the person is and the person's the big star. And I guess I wanted to mention that as well, that through this, it was always about the work I was doing and the tools I was using.
Mhm.
And I can do this after AM as well. And I think that's the biggest thing is you are the guidance and the kind of shepherding into this way of thinking. And it was a reorientation. So it was just really like pick my feet up and look this way because I was looking down and away and in this like pit of sinking sand. And it was just to pick your feet up and turn this way, look up and head this way.
Yes.
And and this works. I hate to say it works because you can do it without, you know, in my daily life, I can do this by myself.
Yes.
And the
Yeah, you
support of you, the support of the community, but post AM, it's a lifelong
yeah.
journey. It's not that it just stops then and you've accomplished what you can accomplish. So
That's a powerful word, the reorientation. That's exactly how I see it too. People come in, you're in like this is deep suffering, like anxiety and motherhood. I mean, it is the worst. I know it. I've lived it. It's the overwhelm is so permeating everything, every relationship, every inch of your corner of your house. And it's not that, there is no quick fix. There is no magic pill. There is no any of that. But this is a new system that you got trained in. It's a
yeah.
system, an approach, and a process. And when you get that orientation, toward like, um, from a place of calm toward what nurtures you, toward compassion, toward your light, then everything you have that forever, and you can do anything with it. Like it's just limitless. This is such an infinite. You are infinitely changed, and now you can create whatever you want, and you get that. I
Mhm.
think but from before, if you'd heard that 4 months ago, you'd be like, I don't. She is what is. I know. Like some people are like, what is that smack that lady's talking? But to hear you really share is such a beautiful kind of like painting a picture. It's just a turning toward the truth of who you are, your authentic light and power, and what nourishes and nurtures you. Will you share a little bit, Brandy, about how your faith was really transformed, your relationship with God specifically, like just
Yeah.
reorganized through this process of tuning into you and claiming abundance?
Absolutely. I mean, that is the biggest blessing, gift,
Mhm.
transformation of all, is that it really was that was another thing that kind of eluded me over the years, and a lot of times and my husband is a former pastor, so throughout this
Oh,
entire process, I would go to him and say, "Hey, this wording is a little different in the way that I'm receiving this information." He's like, "That's while this is not biblical teaching, it's straight from the Bible.
yeah.
Let's go there and let's find exactly what was said in the module, exactly what was said in the work or in the calls or in the time with honor.
Mhm.
In our opinion, all truth is God's truth." So we would go straight to, well, that is what the Bible says about the transforming of your mind. And that is what the Bible says about, these certain things. So it was really interesting to,
Mhm.
I grew up in a, very, you you can't trust anything that's outside of the church. It's got to be from a Bible study or just straight from the Bible, and maybe not even that translation, and whatever
Right.
that was.
Yeah,
There's
that's that's way too out there. Right.
yeah, there was again a sense of fear around. I am not capable for taking information and deciding for myself. It's like
Yes.
just someone else has got to tell me.
Mhm.
That is the I'll answer the faith thing, but it just came to me to say the biggest thing in the world is I feel like I was laying down, just kind of like taking my life, just kind of like, this is happening to me. I don't know what's going on. And now I stood up and looked around, and I'm owning it. So if I'm owning the hard things, I'm owning the hard things. If I'm owning like that I made a what you call a wobble, like,
Yep.
and I maybe fussed when I shouldn't have fussed at my children. I give myself grace, compassion, move on, and it's like I'm finally owning what's going on. I'm standing up and saying, this is my life, and I'm not going to look to my mom, my dad, my husband, my children to tell me. I'm going to make my own decisions, about, and I'm going to be confident about it. And I'm still going to, I'm working it out, but I'm owning it. And a part of that was owning my faith. I was praying to God, asking him constantly, God, help me to be more gentle with my children. Help me to be, more, why am I not compassionate sometimes with my children? Why does there seem like there's this kind of like disconnect, because I'm wanting to connect with them, but something's in the way. And that makes me a terrible mother. Revert back to shame cycle, guilt cycle, all of that. So push harder, pray harder. And for me, reading the Bible, it just kind of dwindled, because this has become, it's not working for me. It's a one-way street of just asking God to change me.
Yes.
The biggest thing was I was not getting up off my booty and changing myself. So that sometimes is something that in the Christian faith I have seen over the years, that we were waiting for God to do this miraculous thing, and yet we're not getting up and walking and doing our part, and turning away from the things that we should be turning away from, and calling in more of what we need to be doing, really making decisions for ourselves, and saying, trusting ourselves again. If we trust that we're serving an almighty, limitless God, we really, I remember thinking like this it needs to be a relationship. Right now it's just this one-way street of, I'm just asking you to change me, but I'm just going to sit here and do the same stuff. I'm just gonna sit around and keep worrying and
different results.
No, and I was changing my actions. I wasn't changing how I was thinking. So I would add a chore chart. I would add a new system. I would do bed earlier. I would do bed later. It was like a marionette for my family. And then finally it's like, cut the strings, and now when I read the Bible, honestly, Honor, it is completely different for me. My relationship with God is completely different. It's a two-way street. I feel, that feeling of having a deep relationship and feeling that, as many Christians would say, alive in Christ, or I'm starting to really feel that. And I think that, I get excited then thinking, if this change has happened now, then thank God, because I have changed the trajectory for my entire family. The legacy of my family has literally been shifted. It will be that time that Grandma Brandee did that. Now we're not, now we're different, because she was a different mom, and all of that. I'm different. I'm finally separate from my family as well, a good family, but I'm separate as a mature woman. And that, to my husband, has been the biggest blessing, that I'm no longer looking to them to kind of, who am I and is this okay? But we're really living our own life as a family. But my faith has been completely opened up. And I think for people who are in the program now that are, struggling with really letting go or opening up to, well, if I open up, maybe I'll open up to the wrong thing. Or I think really just trusting that, exactly. I remember you saying this, and remember, this is so right. Exactly where you are is, where you're supposed to be, and really take that in. And if you have questions about what you're learning, go straight to weigh it out. And I'm telling you, everything is there. Everything that we were talking about, everything that we were doing, the very hard and good work that we were doing, has biblical basis and roots. And sometimes it may sound different. And I think that that's something that, to look outside of what we have looked at in the past and find new tools, it's okay to do. I just can tell the ladies who are thinking about that now, maybe are questioning if they're watching and they haven't taught to honor, or they are in the middle of it. trust the process and trust God. I had this thing on my wall that said, "It is well with my soul," and I bought it when I'd had several miscarriages, and I remember looking at that over the years and thinking, "It is not well with my soul. Like
Yeah.
this is not." And yet I'm living this suburban life, right? And my I have 3 meals a day, if not more, and you know, for all intents and purposes, this is a very comfortable life. I've been in other countries where things are
Yeah.
not so well, and why is it that why is this not
Why am
good?
I not in
Why
harmony with
am I
me?
not
That's right.
feeling peace and at ease? And it's funny now, and I took it down off the wall because I can't even look at that thing. And now I'm
Did you
like,
hang it back up yet?
yeah, I was trying to find a spot for it the other day because I'm like, it's not that everything is perfect. And
Yeah.
it's not that everyone is perfect or that my kids all of a sudden are magically morphed into these, different creatures or me, but it is okay. It is all well because we are now I am now different. And so I trust that this process will just get better and better and better. And I'm
So
very
good.
excited about
Yeah,
that.
so good. The better
Very
you've heard
excited.
me say, the better it gets, the better it gets. That's
Yeah.
absolutely true. Beyond on the other side of resolving overwhelm, it's just gonna keep getting better as long as you are staying in the stream. You know, you gotta stay in the stream, and I love that so much because it is well with I know that's one of my favorite hymns. I just love, 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 love that hymn so much. You know the hymn, "It is well with my soul." So beautiful. Um, the message in that is, whatever it is, it's well with my soul, meaning, like, I'm good either way. I'm okay. And that's exactly what you're demonstrating for us today too. You know, my kids are not perfect. My life is not somehow, it has not become perfect, but I don't need it to be anymore. That from now on, whatever it is that's happening, I'm okay with that. That this life is well with my soul, that I am well with my soul is such a beautiful message. That's it. That's the stream. I'm so glad that you chose to step in it, and I just love, love, love seeing you enjoying so much more of your life now. It's beautiful how much it's expanded.
I'm
Is
so
there
glad I listened to that. I'm so glad when I talked to you, I remember thinking I knew that's what I wanted to do, but the old me wanted to ask everybody to make sure it was okay and
Yeah.
with everybody, and is this the right timing for everybody? And I remember I asked two people, one being my husband and a good friend, and they said, "We're not telling you what to do. You
That's
need to just
right.
show
Oh, that's
up."
right. That's right.
Yeah,
Your husband was like, "I'm out. This is
he said, "No,
you."
this is
Yeah.
you. This is your journey in your life, and do you want to do this?" And I'm thinking, well, is it convenient for everyone? And that was kind of my whole thing was, is this
Yeah.
okay for everybody? Um, I think, I thought of something to share that I've been noticing now and a lot of moms, because it's hard now. My heart aches now when I see moms that
Mm,
are overwhelmed at the park and
I
they're overwhelmed at the pool. And I can see it now so clearly. And my heart is like, oh my goodness, there's just, I was always so worried about missing out on the moments.
mhm.
So much so that I would like schedule. I need to connect with each child, like to make sure everybody's needs are met. And it used to be from lack of connection, but wanting to just, do it all just perfectly. And I think I think now, looking at people, I just it's just not worth it. I mean, it's just such a waste of time. And I feel like at the end of the day, we have to, as mothers, really kind of take back motherhood in a way.
Yeah.
Um, Everything in culture is just, you know, be okay with it. It's just a
It'd
mess.
be
And
awful. Yeah.
go do this more, or just, go. It's okay. It's acceptable for this to be chaotic. And we're all just going to high
Yeah.
five each other and talk about how chaotic this is.
Yeah, the hot mess mom. It's
That
super cool to be the hot mess mom. Like, it's not there's nothing good about that.
Yeah, because deep down inside, I think that we're not okay with that. We really
Yeah.
want something better. I think there's that time of really standing up and coming together and really helping each other out and loving on each other and encouraging one another and really moving forward in that.
Yeah.
Um, Rather than how are you doing? Oh, we're barely getting by. Before AM, I remember someone saying, "How are you guys doing?" I was like, "Well, we're not thriving." That's what I said.
Uh-huh.
And I can say now that while there's not this picture of complete health, we are we are in the process of doing that, and we
Mm.
are healing and getting better. And I don't know.
Beautiful.
I just
So
want
beautiful. Yeah.
women and mothers to understand this is this is it. This is the these are the tools,
Mhm.
and it's okay to do something for yourself. When you do something for yourself, it is going to be what's good for your kids. It's like, I used to wonder, is this okay for my family? Can I do this? Can I go to the gym? Can I go for a
Mhm.
walk? Can I, and now I'm saying this is what's best for me. And so therefore it's going to be best for my family because
That's it.
it's nurturing me. Um, yeah, I just,
Beautiful, like, that's your beautiful new shiny belief system. That and that's a part of that's part of what we utilize, what we use for strategy to get you to that place where you can do anything you need to do for you and everyone benefits. Everyone comes in with black and white either or, sort of if someone will have to pay a price, someone will have to go without, someone will have to whatever if I take care of me. And it is one mode that most people are in, and it's not the highest truth. It's just not the highest truth. Now, and I love that you expressed that. The highest truth is you're healthy, kids are healthier and happier. You're
mhm.
stable, you're nurtured, kids feel more loved. And that is exactly how that always plays out. I just love it so much that you shared that.
It's not always the easiest thing because I decided to join a gym recently, and
Mhm.
getting 3 kids to a gym is not that easy, but it we go because it's what I need to do, and then they end up having fun rather than I would think before, "Are they having fun? Is this okay for them? Are they gonna be good for 45 minutes?" I'm saying, "I'm going for myself." And the day that I signed up for that honor was such a beautiful thing I noticed is that I wasn't going to try to fix something anymore. I wasn't going, "Well, maybe this will make me feel better."
Mhm.
Like, maybe if
Yeah, I
I just
remember you wrote me that. I
oh,
love
I
that
was like,
so
maybe if I just
much.
work out, I'll feel better. Or maybe if I'll, it's some, this fog will clear. And I actually went that day. And it was terribly hard workout. But I was like, I'm doing this because I want to, and it's gonna make me feel good. It's not gonna just fix the deep ache. It wasn't just another searching for that thing that would magic bullet fix me. So
So good. You'd already done the heavy lifting. Now you get to enjoy. Now you get
yeah,
to enjoy these things. So beautiful. Oh, you guys that are listening, that are hearing Brandee's share, please do give her so much love for sharing and tell us in the comments, let her know what you appreciated hearing or what stood out to you. Or if you want to know more, drop that in the comments too. I ask that you would respect Brandee's privacy and not reach out to her through private channels. Just give her respect the boundary of space. But if you have questions, drop them in the comments here and she can come back and answer. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing so beautifully from your heart. And I am just so happy for you. So
thank
happy for
you.
this beautiful expansion and all that is transformed and all that is being transformed. So many blessings. Really, really excited for you.
Thank you, Honor, so much.
Yeah, and thanks to your family too, who just are going along for this ride with you. It's a beautiful thing. You're taking the lead, and what a beautiful balance that's brought to you and your husband too. What that's
Yeah.
just so awesome to hear about. Awesome. Well, love you so much. Thank you for
Thank
joining us
you.
on this stage. And you guys drop some comments, give her some hearts, and let Brandee know what was helpful to hear. All right. Okay, and if you want more, if you want to have the conversation with me, just like Brandee did, she clicked my booking link and got on my calendar, and probably like a lot of you have done or are thinking about doing, and that's how we know where to start. It's the only way that we can know, like, am I going to be able to help you? And if I tell you I can, then you can rest assured that you can have a life like what Brandy's describing now and these kind of transformations. So I'll drop the call booking link and just reach out and we'll have a chat. Okay. Thanks, dear Brandee. I'll see
Thank
you again soon. See you on
Sounds
the
great.
alumni side.
Bye-bye.